Hi everyone. I hope I find you well. My name is Thembani Dube. I'm the executive director of the 1893 Mtokazi Human Rights Restoration Movement. Just a brief on what this organization is about, because sometimes people do confuse it with a political organization, which is not the case. So we are not a political organization. We are a human rights organization, specifically focusing on Matabeleland issues and trying to either highlight human rights issues or abuses, be it at government level, be it within organizations, be it at family level, be it at community level. So sometimes, it's good to understand our broad spectrum, that we're not only looking at human rights abuses by the government. It can be at family level, it can be at community level, it can be within organizations, which then therefore means our neutrality is very, very, very important as an organization. So we have to be neutral to be able to deal with these issues in a fair and unbiased manner. So this is very critical and this is very important. We are not a political organization. We are a human rights organization. And we are looking at a broad spectrum of human rights for our people, be it education, health, history, business, a whole range of language, a whole range of human rights that we believe our people are entitled to and that they need to be restored, actually. Hence, the restoration movement. The second point is the reason why we arrived at a point of naming this organization as 1893. Mtokazi Human Rights Restoration or Matabeleland Human Rights Restoration was an agenda to refocus our people's minds to who they are, and also to see, to focus our minds in terms of where the problems began with our nation. In 1893, when our kingdom was destroyed. So that's the main thrust of the whole issue. And we believe we have made some headway in trying to get people to focus on that, and focus on their history and then their rights and stuff like that. But this organization was, started in... was formed actually on the 13th of November in 2016. So roughly about 3 years or so. It's the first organization that ever has been named after the 1893 year, which saw the destruction of our kingdom. So the organization has been making baby steps in terms of, trying to make progress, trying to, first of all, get itself organized, and operational, going through the registration in various countries, going through its renewal within itself. As we always know, you're always going to face challenges when you set up such an organization that wants to focus on issues where human rights are violated. So it's bound to be encounter some challenges. But I think we've emerged from those challenges very strong and very renewed and very focused as an organization. And I think we are making progress. But the most essential part of this presentation is just to see how we have done in 2020, what sort of things we've tried to do. It's not big things, it's just small baby step stuff. So we are not beating our chests, and saying that we've done great. It's just the little things that we've tried as people of Matabeleland, building capacity ourselves and not getting capacity from someone else, but, relying on ourselves and trying to move things forward. But, 2020 has been a challenging year in itself. We have the COVID-19 pandemic, and this has been wreaking havoc at individual level, at family level, at community level, at nations level, and at world level, basically. So the world has been turned upside down. That many institutions, nations, organizations have been affected by this. They've tried to adapt to this pandemic and try to use other means to pursue their programs. So it's been a very challenging year. Having said that, the 1893 Mtokazi Human Rights Restoration Movement has made attempts to try and do some of his programs and try and reach out into the community, specifically in Matabeleland. And of course, we've tried to work with other organizations, learn from them, what they do in terms of trying to help their people with regards to human rights. So earlier this year, we started sort of our community outreach program, which was kicked off with the victims of police brutality in Countrypark, the Countrypark ladies. These ladies had already been, the issue had already been exposed, I think, by Zenzel and others, but we felt we still needed to, go in there and also highlight, support them, even though, gave them some material things, but being there and actually shining a torch in there and saying we are aware, we are looking at these issues, and this is very unfair that people can be brutalized because of their ethnicity and beaten to the pulp because of who they are, because of their identity. So we went there, our Mbuyazo regiment, which is based at home, managed to visit the ladies at Countrypark, and that was successful. And also we visited the Mabutweni Ncube family, where Levison Ncube was brutalized again by the police of Zimbabwe, and he died secondary to the wounds that were inflicted on him. And apparently had been found with his girlfriend, pregnant girlfriend. They were just going to the shops to buy some stuff and return back home. And I think the restrictions had just kicked in, and then they were brutalized. He was brutalized, beaten by the police. He went to hospital, and then after that, he died. So these are some of the things that we are really keen on to expose, to highlight, and really focus on. And mostly we realize that most human rights violations that happen in Matabeleland tend to be underplayed and not focused upon. Whereas in other areas, if there is anything of that sort, it gets international, focus, and the whole media then plays around. And whereas if things are happening in Matabeleland, there seem to be less interest in what happens there. Hence, we've created this organization to actually marshal our energies and harness our people's energies towards being our own sort of saviors and trying to raise issues that affect us. But as we know that in 2019 and 2020 has been also a terrible year for Matabeleland in terms of severe drought. So we the city of Bulawayo has had severe water shortages as a result of the severe drought, 2019-2020 severe drought. So there has been some emergency situations in Matwelen, people looking for water, they couldn't get water. Again, we decided to take a small baby step of trying to help out as much as we can within our own capacity to try and make a community outreach program in terms of water distribution to some of the towns in Bulawayo. And we've worked cordially with the City Council of Bulawayo, and we have distributed water to a number of townships, as well as to Thembani Old People's Home and Tembiso Children's Orphanage Home. So that program did work very well. We eventually, at the end of 6 months, contributed, I think, in total 252,000 liters of water to various households and to Thembani Old People's Home and Tembiso People's Children's Home. But also alongside that is we decided to ensure that we come up with a Matwelen calendar to try and focus our people's minds again to our history, to the important dates in Matwelen, so that, we are proud of who we are. We should know our history. We should learn a lot about our history, and be proud of who we are. Therefore, we established that calendar this year. But that was against the backdrop of having declared last year November as the History Month for Matwelen. So we decided it was an important month for Matwelen, because that's when in 1893 the Kingdom of Matwelen, or the state of Matwelen, take your pick, was destroyed and taken over by Rhodes and his pioneer column, and then later on in 1894 unified with Mashonaland to form a country initially called South Zambezia, and then later on Rhodesia, and then later on Southern Rhodesia, when Zambia was named Northern Rhodesia. Later on Southern Rhodesia stroke Zimbabwe, and then eventually post-colonially Zimbabwe. So we've got various dates. We've got an established calendar with various dates. Some of the dates are, include important wars that we fought in our country, some significant dates in our nation, basically. So this year we started sort of operationalizing those dates and actually having some lectures. You would have seen that for the past month and this month, we've had a series of lectures on history and other issues that concern our nation as Matwelen. And those history lectures have been successful, and we thank every guest that has come through to present and lecture and give a perspective that is a Matwele perspective, which is a Matwele narrative of how we view issues within our territory. So this has been great, and this has involved also focusing on the genocide in Matwelen. Of course, we are a human rights organization, therefore we will focus on those things. So we've had some really, really brilliant lectures from various guests, and we're hoping to intensify next year in terms of these lectures. They will cut across a number of issues on our rights as a people. The right to business, the right to education, the right to health. So we will tackle all these issues and try and shine a torch around those areas, and also for people to see where their options could be, if in cases where the opportunities are limited, be it in education, be it in music, be it in arts, be it in whatever. So to try and expose the talent, and people then enjoy the rights to their music, to their culture, to education, to health, and all that stuff. And also the bigger thrust of this organization is to work directly with people for them to access their rights, their human rights, be it capacitating them to actually live and exercise their rights. So that's very important. That's a very, very, very important ideology that we have. But also what we've done is we are looking at, resuscitating history and modernizing it and living it in a modern way, so that we know who we are, and then we brand these things, we make them relevant, we make them modern, and as such. So this year we engaged in branding our chapters in various countries, and name them according to our regiments that existed way back. So we have in Matabeleland a regiment called Mbuyazo Regiment. In the UK, is called the Zongendaba Regiment, and the South African chapter is called Makoloza Regiment. We've got a chapter in East Africa. We've got our people there who've joined the movement. That chapter is called the Godloyo Regiment. And then we've got our people in East Asia who have been fascinated and actually joined this movement as well. So that chapter is called Ingama Regiment. So we hope to be expanding these chapters, even locally at home, to regions, to areas in Kai and stuff like that, and looking at how we can consolidate the chapters and actually reach out to our people, but modernizing them and making sure that people are proud of who they are, and they are modernizing their history and living their history. So the program is on that we continue to brand our chapters, and as our membership grows, then we continue to expand. And the most important thing about this movement is that we are not really interested in people belonging to a particular organization we are interested in people being from Matabeleland and people identifying with the issues that are from Matabeleland that need to be dealt with. So we are really not sort of focused on, someone is from this particular organization, so it's non-organizational. So we want people to be who they are as a Matabele. That's the qualification. If you're a Matabele, that's a qualification for you to be a member of this organization, and from a human rights perspective, and take things from there. But with the rebranding of chapters, what we did is that coincided with our intended borehole drilling projects in 3 places. The Senkundleni, which is found at Thembani. I think it's a Black Umfolosi center, very central to various towns in Bulawayo. And then we've got Tembiso Children's Orphanage. So we are planning to again drill a borehole there if things go on well, and Thembani Old People's Home. So we've targeted these 3 areas for our borehole project fundraising. So we kind of we're preparing the issue of using t-shirts that are branded with our regiments, to use that also as a fundraiser aspect towards the 3 projects that we are focusing on. So having said that, We've started getting t-shirts in South Africa and also in the United Kingdom. So now the t-shirts are available in South Africa and they are available in the United Kingdom, and we will continue producing them as people demand them. So as you can see here, anyway, I'm wearing one. That's one there, that's branded. And we've got, the 1893, that's the back part of the t-shirt there. You can see Zongendaba there, regiment. So this is the UK one. And in South Africa, I think we've had varied types of t-shirts. So there's Makoloza regiment, there's Zongendaba regiment t-shirts, Mbuyazwe regiment t-shirts, Ingama, and I think Goldwire t-shirts. So there's quite a number of those. Those who are interested in getting these t-shirts in South Africa will need to contact this number, and I will put this number as well, in the group, or these numbers in the group. So those who are thinking of getting these t-shirts in support of the borehole drilling projects, they can do so by contacting this particular number in South Africa. Is 278136 81792. That's the South African number. You'll be given the information of the price, which is, I think, is 120 rands, and where to deposit that money, and then your t-shirt gets sent to you, and I think that price is inclusive of postage, I think. And in the UK, the number that can be contacted is obviously you put the code for the country 4478894222695. Again, you will be given the details. I think in our case in the UK, the t-shirt is £20, but with postage is £25. So we are trying to raise the funding for the projects. So that's what we're trying to do. So everything goes to the funding of the project. So we've got the t-shirts now in South Africa. We are hoping to produce some next year for at home in Matabeleland. So that's something in the pipeline. So we'll be doing that. The other issue that we have come up with is our website is still in progress. 1893 MHRRM.org. So that's our website. You can visit there and you can see where the direction is for the organization and what it stands for. So that's really what it is. Therefore, as closing remarks, really is to thank everyone, especially the 1893 Board of Directors, the Bayete Board of Directors, the members of 1893 who've, through difficult times, still managed to part with their little money so that we can get water for people in Bulawayo, so that we can do some, community outreach programs. So we thank those who've really, during these difficult times, still managed to think of others in these hard times. And we thank everyone who has or who is still following the 1893 Mtokazi Human Rights Restoration Movement. It's a pleasure to see people trying to follow what we are trying to do. Equally, we're very grateful to our guest speakers. They've been very, 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 very powerful speakers. Dr. Admo Chuma, Dr. Sbindi, Dr. Ngwenya, Dr. Mpofu. They've been fantastic, and we look forward next year to get more people to present a number of issues where we can look at and benefit from as we move forward. So in a nutshell, that's the little progress that we've made this year, but we hope to build on it and build capacity and be able to move forward. Thank you so much, and I hope people are going to try and make the most out of the festive season, even though we are faced with a pandemic. More so here in Europe and specifically in the United Kingdom, things are really not looking good. So we are hoping to play it safe, keep safe with our families, and I hope everyone out there will try and make the most out of the festive season. Again, keep safe and look after ourselves, our families, our communities, and so that we meet again hopefully next year, and then the journey continues. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure and it's been fantastic, and I can't thank you ever so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.